The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. This lesson contains 5 characters, all of which are based on the character for interlocking wooden framework of a house, which looks exactly like ran in lesson 70, but is doubled, one above and one below. It's unrelated to hair and is a separate pictogram altogether, pronounced fourth tone. Go! Go! It's colored purple here because it's never used alone, but only as the phonetic for today's characters. Our first actual character pairs the water radical with go phonetic. Pronounced first tone. Go, go. It represents waterways with an interlinking structure, or irrigation canals. This can mean anything from a sewer, drain, ditch, channel, gully, to a mountain ravine, or simply a rut or groove, depending on the character you match it with. 土沟 would be a ditch. 我们往上爬出土沟了. We climbed or crawled out of the ditch. Depending on size, 山沟 could be a gully or a ravine. 驾驶不小心把汽车跌入山沟中. Through carelessness, the driver ended up with his car in a mountain gully. 下水道 and 水沟 can sometimes refer to the same thing, a sewer or a drain. 下水道跟水沟都通往河流去. The sewers and drains all flow into the river. Much more useful, however, is the use of 沟 in the expression 沟通, meaning to bring about an unobstructed flow, to link up, to communicate, literally get through to someone. 我们之间有沟通上的问题. We have a problem communicating with each other. 她有很好的德语沟通能力. She can express herself very well in German. 不会说话的人可以用手语来沟通. Those unable to speak can use sign language to communicate. 员工都有书面跟口头上沟通的技能. The staff all possess written and oral communication skills. For our second character, that interlocking structure of go combines with the cowrie shell to represent the exchanging of money for goods. In other words, to purchase. Also pronounced fourth tone, go. 购入 means to procure goods, usually on a large scale. 日本想增加购入天然气. Japan is considering increasing its procurement of natural gas. Notice 天然气 for natural gas. One way to avoid the problem of too many homonyms in Mandarin is the doubling up of characters with the same meaning, such as 购买, meaning to buy or purchase. 这是购买气炸锅的时机. This is the right time to buy an air fryer. 太太迫使我 购买我不需要的电锅。My wife forced me to purchase an electric rice cooker I didn't need. Another useful phrase is 抢购, literally to snatch and buy, trying to beat others in making a purchase. This is what often happens during a sale. 大家急着去抢购那些水货手机。Everybody's in a rush to get their hands on a tax-free mobile phone. I say tax-free because 水货 refers to merchandise brought into the country by friends or tourists and resold, without paying any customs duties on it. It's definitely cheaper, but all warranties are null and void. 几百个女性影迷在那儿抢购他的书。Several hundred female fans are over there scrambling to buy his book. 不到半小时，大家抢购完他的猪肉包子。People bought up all her pork buns in less than half an hour. Our third character combines 购 with the speech radical. The crisscross framework of 购 suggests a back and forth verbal exchange, or talking. The pronunciation changes to third tone, 讲, 讲. If you pronounce the character 讲 in the more ancient Chinese dialects of Cantonese, 讲, and Taiwanese, gong, you will find this hard G to soft G shift in Mandarin to be a common occurrence. Anyway, back to 讲. 她不肯跟外人讲这些事。She is unwilling to talk about these matters with strangers. 她跟我讲了她的生活史。She told me her life story. Literally, her life history. English story and history were originally the same French word histoire. In French, they're still one and the same. 讲好 means to discuss and come to a decision. 聚餐的时间跟地点都讲好了。The time and place of the dinner have been decided. 乱讲 is what you respond when someone says something totally absurd. 我真的很想死，一了百了。不要乱讲。I just want to die and end it all. Don't talk such nonsense. You will recall from way back in lesson 14 that 一了百了, literally settle one, settle 100, means to solve a problem once and for all, be finished with it for good. Sometimes heard by a person considering suicide as an end to all their troubles. 讲 can also mean to explain, make clear, or interpret. 这个字儿有几个讲法。This character may be interpreted or pronounced in different ways. The next 5 examples are of the very common phrase meaning to speak. 讲话。他讲话从来都很慎重。He is always very careful when he speaks. 怎么通知他呢？电话一直讲话中。How can we contact him? His phone's always busy. 请你把我跟你讲的话细细的想一想。Please consider carefully what I've told you. 他很生气，气得连话也讲不出来。He was so furious, he couldn't even speak. 我爸爸讲的是半通不通的英语。My dad speaks barely intelligible English. So far, with the possible exception of 讲话中, meaning a person's line is busy, all of the above examples of 讲 can be replaced by 说 with no difference in meaning. Now we come to uses of 讲 that are not normally interchangeable with 说. 够 is not only the phonetic, but also emphasizes a back and forth exchange to clarify precisely what is desired. From this interaction, 讲 in these next three sentences means to be particular about, pay attention to emphasize. 男宿舍怎么那么不讲卫生? How come the men's dormitory pays so little attention to cleanliness? 他是一个不讲道德的生意人. He's an unscrupulous businessman. Literally, he is not at all particular about morality when conducting business. 我们最好少讲一点气派. We'd best tone down the extravagance a bit. You'll recall from lesson 62 that 有气派 describes the furnishings and general ambience of an expensive hotel, or the home of a wealthy person. 派 means a faction or splitter group, but here refers to those high-class people who are set apart from the rest of us. A more precise phrase for explain is 讲解. 请跟我们讲解怎么使用好吗? Could you please explain to us how to use it? 本书主要讲解的是素食如何比肉食好. This book explains how vegetarianism is better than eating meat. 听讲 means to attend a lecture or listen to a talk. 那班的男生不怎么认真听讲. The boys in that class don't take the lectures seriously. 讲明 and 讲明白 both mean to state explicitly, clearly lay out where you stand. 我认为你必须讲明真相. I believe you must explicitly state the true situation. 他在信上已向大家讲明了这个问题. In his letter, he clearly laid out this problem for all to see. 我们把话讲明白，你不可以娶我女儿. Let's get one thing straight. You cannot marry my daughter. From 道, meaning the way. In a religious sense, 讲道 means to give a sermon or to preach. 我们今天听了很多动人的讲道. We've listened to many moving sermons today. Up next is our fourth character, the would radical with go phonetic. The original sketch of a wooden framework, interlocking cross timbers which, when raised on a central support beam, become the roof of a house. This combination is also pronounced fourth tone go, go, and means to frame, build, or constitute. 构成 translates as to form, constitute, construct, or compose. 两个否定构成肯定. Two negatives make a positive. 工作构成我们生活上的1/3. Work constitutes 1/3 of our lives. In lesson 59, we first encountered 机, the silk loom, with its interconnected, moving parts. This meaning was expanded to include anything mechanical, such as a machine or mechanism that performs a specific task. Living creatures also have interconnected parts called organs that perform the task of maintaining life. Many organs working together constitute an organism, if alive, or, if not alive, then an interdependent system of parts, an organization. Chinese combines these two characters with similar meanings, ji and gou, to create the expression for an organization, ji gou, a group of people working together. 这是多样化的机构. This is a diversified organization. 跟国家机构相比，我们的是很小. Compared to a national organization, ours is very small. 构想 is a noun meaning an idea, plan, or scheme. 你可以讲解一下你的构想吗? Can you explain your idea? 计划中的构想使我们称心如意. We are quite satisfied with the thinking behind the plan. 构思 as a verb refers to writers or artists working out the plot of a literary work or the composition of a painting. As a noun, it translates as conception. 他拍的电影构思都有创意. The plots of her films are all quite original in conception. 好的小说家需要有很大的构思能力. Any novelist worth their salt needs an exceptional talent for conceiving a plot. 他的著作在构思上很有想象力. Her works are so imaginative in their conception. And finally, we come to our fifth character in today's lesson, which is one half of gou. It's pronounced fourth tone, zai, zai, and seems to be the sketch of a roof about to be raised to the top of a structure. One of the earliest Chinese character dictionaries was the 说文解字, called The Explanation and Analysis of Characters, written nearly 2,000 years ago. In it, zai is explained simply. 一举而二也. Literally, raise one and get two. A reference to what appears to be one large assembly of interlocking poles, which, when raised off the ground, actually becomes two smaller panels, making up the sloping roof of a house under construction. This drawing of one half of a two-sided roof, zai, means again, or another time, another one, from the idea that you only see one half of the whole, and more is yet to come. 你再说, keep it up and I'm going to smack you. Or, give it a rest, will you? I often heard this in a family with children who refused to stop whining and complaining. 别急，这件事过几天再说吧. There's no rush. Hold off a few days, and then we can talk about this. 再来 means to return, repeat, or when talking about food, to have another serving. 你什么时候再来看我们? When will you come see us again? 你们再来一些土豆泥好吗? Would you like to have another helping of mashed potatoes? In English, fruit and vegetable names often vary depending on where you live. For example, green beans were also called string beans or snap beans where I grew up. In Chinese, one way to say a potato is 土豆, literally earth bean. In Taiwan, however, 土豆 would be a peanut, also called 花生. 再者 is a formal expression translating into English moreover, besides, furthermore. 我不必跟你讲，再者，你不可能了解。There's no need for me to tell you. Besides, you wouldn't understand. 这间屋子不怎么光亮。再者，它太小了。This room isn't very bright. Furthermore, it's too small. 再三 and its longer version, 一而再，再而三, both mean repeatedly, again and again. 我再三努力也没用，我根本比不上他。I've tried again and again, but it's no use. I simply cannot compare to him. The next three sentences contain 再不, meaning not anymore, never again. It's simply what it says, the repetition or continuation, 再, of a negative situation, 不, with possible consequences. 我再不需要他了. I don't need him anymore. 你明天再不好，我就请大夫. If you're still not feeling well by tomorrow, I'm calling a doctor. 你再不下手的话，机会就没了. If you keep hesitating, you'll miss your chance. The above examples with 再不 generally express impatience, exasperation, or a veiled warning. The expressions 再也不 or 再也没, usually paired with unstressed 了, also mean never again or not anymore, with emphasis on the finality of the situation. 你再也看不到我了. You will never see me again. 我再也没有那个精力了. I just don't have that kind of energy anymore. 那天以后，我再也没跟他会面. After that day, I never met with him again. These next 5 sentences, however, turn the characters around and say 不在 plus a verb, indicating that the action is simply not repeated, the declaration of a fact. Naturally, with both phrases 在不 and 不在, intonation is everything. 机不可失, 时不再来. It's now or never. Or, opportunity knocks but once. This is a common saying, a more succinct way of saying 机会不可以失去，时机不会再来。从那天以后，他就不再讲那件事了。From that day on, he never brought the matter up again. 我不再把他看成朋友。I no longer consider him a friend. 别以为他们不再过问此事。Don't think for a moment they won't ask about it again. 我儿子不再念书，而去打工了。My son quit school and is doing odd jobs. 打工 means to do odd jobs, as opposed to regular employment. 工作。在家 means to increase the amount of something already available, but insufficient. 要是氧气不足，你可以在家。If there's not enough oxygen, you can increase the amount. 再加上 means plus or in addition to what already exists. 他的才华再加上口才，使得我指派他去。Her talent, in addition to her speaking skills, convinced me to send her. 再会 is one way to say goodbye, literally, till we meet again, as in this closing statement by a radio, TV, or podcast speaker. 我们今天就讲到此为止吧。再会。That's all for today. Until next time, goodbye. 再生 can refer to one of three things. Regeneration, such as cells in the body, bearing another child, or the reincarnation of a famous person. Here are 3 sentences, one for each meaning. 人的骨头有再生能力吗？ Do human bones have the ability to regenerate? 我妈想再生一个女儿。My mother wants to have another child, a daughter. 她的画画就像 Picasso 再生。His paintings are reminiscent of Picasso. Or, he's a second Picasso. His paintings are so good. When a person finds himself or herself in dire straits, a great benefactor or savior is 再生父母, literally, one's second parents. It's an expression of deep gratitude when receiving enormous help, and can be used to thank just one person, not necessarily 2 parents. 您就是我的再生父母。You truly saved my life with your help. 可以这样讲，他就是我们家的再生父母。Let me put it this way. He's our family's savior. And finally, 再不然 is the same as 要不然, or simply 不然, meaning otherwise. 把真相解说，再不然他们会拖累你的。Explain the situation, otherwise they'll implicate you in this. Here is our color chart with today's 5 characters. 勾 Go 讲 Go and 在 Here's a recap of today's lesson. 1. All of today's 5 characters are based on what looks like 染 from lesson 71, but is actually a sketch of the interlocking wooden framework of the roof of a house. Pronounced go, it represented a crisscross interlinking structure which split off into several separate characters. 2. When the 3-drop water radical is added, we have the character for interlinked waterways, or irrigation canals, pronounced go. From flowing water, this character was extended to the back and forth flow of communication between people in the phrase 沟通. 3. The addition of the cowrie shell to the go phonetic became the character for go, to purchase, literally the back and forth transaction of money and goods. 4. 讲, meaning to speak or explain, developed from the addition of the speech radical to the interlinked framework sketch to indicate a back and forth verbal exchange in order to clarify precisely a desired outcome. From this derives the various connotations that distinguish 讲 from 说. Namely, 讲 means not only to speak or state something explicitly, to explain it, but also to be quite particular about it. 5. 构 with the wood or tree radical is the original meaning of an interconnected wooden framework that will become the sloping roof of a house or a hut. It means to frame, build, compose, or constitute. 6. And finally, 在 is one half of 构, indicating a double panel frame to be lifted and placed on support beams for the roof. First constructed flat on the ground, these two panels bend in the center when raised and supported by a crossbeam. From this process, one panel becoming two half panels is derived the meaning of there's more to see yet, more than this visible half. In other words, again, another one, another time. A simple expression where 在 means number 2 is found in 一而再, 再而三. Literally, 1 then 2, 2 then 3, and translates as repeatedly, over and over again. Now you will find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.